So Sebastian has a microphone, and if you raise your hand, we'll recognize you and give you the microphone and allow you to ask a question. I ask that you use the microphone so the video can capture also the question. So we'll work together to pass the microphones.
My name is Stefan Ziegler, I come from Cologne. You told us from which traps different perspectives result, and we discussed very intensively the question if people argue who tells the truth, and you have in a hierarchical system boss, and he says he tells the truth because of his power. How do you think do leaders react if they are confronted with the situation that they are 3 children with 40 years experience? Because leadership in my mind also means how to be your boss.
Yes? So I'm not sure I follow the question. What?
But the question is as far as I understood you told us how different perspectives are in the same hierarchy. But if your boss has a different perspective,
okay. Yes.
And he says, this is the true perspective because I'm the boss.
Yes.
How would he get?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Very good. So when I say that all the perspectives are in the same level, I mean, I wouldn't say there. I don't know. I don't think I said that. I don't like that. If I said that, I take it back. I think that I don't even know what it would be at the level. I think some people have power to impose their perspectives by force. That doesn't make them any more truthful. They can say this is true. People say lots of things are true, but that doesn't make them truth. It just allows some people to impose their will and their reality construct on others. That's the way the world works. The people that have the power, that's the other version of the golden rule. He who has the gold make the rules. That's, so that the question, if I understand correctly, would be how do you respond to that? How do you
lead your boss in that respect?
How do you lead your boss?
Exactly, because in organizations it's often a question of power.
Yes. But when you say how do you lead your boss, why do you feel you need to lead your boss? I don't understand. I mean, the organization has a certain structure, and there's a hierarchy which has been defined as a hierarchy of authority and responsibility. You're working in that organization, and you have signed a contract that says you're going to operate under the authority of your boss. And now your boss says something, and he says this is the way it is, and you don't agree. What do you do then? That would be the question. Okay. Well, one possible thing is to find a way to express your disagreement in service of your boss's higher objectives and see if he's open. So one thing I would not do is to say, you're wrong. So I would not say that to a boss that has power. I wouldn't say that to anybody, but certainly not to a boss that has authority over me. What I would try to understand is how my view could add value to his goal. So is there something can I challenge my boss in a way that he would experience as in his service? That's the trick. I call that the Aikido move. And that's the only way to imagine confronting the person with an alternative view of the situation. You seem troubled by that.
Well, you said that conflict is a question of disagreement and anxiety.
And scarcity. Yes.
So how could I want my boss to take away scarcity from him?
I don't, but wait a minute. You're parting from the assumption that you're right and your boss is wrong. Yes, you're talking like you have to change your boss's mind. I don't know if I don't want to change my boss's mind. I don't know if I'm right. You see, but you're already doing to him what you're saying he's doing to you. Because you're starting the conversation saying, he's wrong, I'm right, and my goal in this conversation is to change his mind. That doesn't work. That's lack of respect. I walk into a conversation saying, I don't know what's going on. He's saying something, I don't agree, and he has power over me. Those are the facts. What am I going to do? But he may be right. Having power doesn't mean he's wrong. So I would be curious and say, tell me more. I say, oh, this is what I don't understand. Can I serve you? And at the end, if he says, there's one thing I didn't say, but it's in my book, that the third part of conflict is unclear property rights. In a boss-subordinate situation, it's very clear who owns the property rights, and it's the boss. So at the end, if my boss says, this is the way I want to do it, I say, okay, or I quit. I mean, I follow this rule. Is I take your money, I work for you. I don't like to work for you, I don't take your money, and then I walk. But as long as I work for you, I do what you say. This is not about disobedience or being, rebellious. It's like, no, I don't screw around. If you ask me to do so many things that I don't like or you mistreat me, I'll walk. I don't work for you. But as long as I, by contract, give you permission to instruct me on what you want me to do, I'll do what you say. I don't have any fight. Even if I think you're dead wrong. Because it's your money. It's your company. So if a painter comes to my house and I say, I want my bedroom black, and he says, no, black is a bad color, I'll fire the painter. But not because black is a good color, but because it's my house. So it's my house, you paint it any color I want. And if you don't want to work for me, get the hell out of here, I get someone else. I'm a boss. But notice that it's very different to say, I want you to paint my bedroom black because it's mine, than to say, I want you to paint my bedroom black because that's the right color for my bedroom. I don't get into a fight about the right color for my bedroom. I say, this is my bedroom, I paint it any color I want, and I want it black. It's very subjective, but very strong too. So when I work for someone, say Sebastian says, Fred, you have an hour. I have two options. I mean, we can talk about that. I know I like two, no, the conference. At the end, it's either I do an hour or I don't come. But if I come, I'll do an hour. He imposed it on me? No, he didn't impose. He said what he wanted, and I agreed. Is it right to do an hour? Would it be better to do an hour and a half? Would it be better to do half an hour? I don't know, but it's his conference. He's the boss. So when he says that, I say, yes, sir, and we have 5 minutes. He gave me permission for 5 more minutes. Thank you.